Welcome back to Shem's Universe. So today, guys, we're going to go over the LifePath number 7 when according to Chaldean tablets. So the LifePath 7 is a very interesting one. It's often very misconstrued. I find people with 7 oftentimes will come to me for readings and they're like, well, what's this all about? And ultimately, your LifePath, to give you a little bit of a free reading, is all about mastery, guys. Like if you're a LifePath 7, you have to understand that your life is about mastering a certain subject matter, not really getting famous for it like a 3 or a 6 possibly, not really being renowned or rich off it like an 8. It's more so understanding something at such a detailed level that you're considered the expert at that given thing. I discussed this in about a LifePath video a couple of days ago. So in these compound numbers that I'm about to give you guys, you have to start realizing that these are the things that you have to see through to understand what the complexity is of your life. So when you start seeing things like, okay, maybe I'm a 16/7, which we'll start with, that's very different from somebody who's a 25/7. So with 16, with the Chaldeans, they sort of like explain your life path in a sense of like, here's the type of things that will happen based off your compound number. 1 and 6 lead a lot of, it leads to a lot of narcissism, they say. It can make you somebody who's very materialistic in comparison to other 7s, but it can also lead to having a lot of abandonment issues. People with 16/7 tend to have issues with parents, family, because of the 6 in there, issues with self-development because of the 1, and ultimately they have to choose what they want to master due to the 7s. They're always seeking for something. So instead of like seeking for a purpose or something to master, like something to do with their craft or a career, they oftentimes will hunt down things that revolve around, I would more so say like why their family left in the first place, or why they can't get along with people. So people with this vibration tend to keep people at a very big arm's length, and in turn they don't actually have much meaningful relationships with substance. So you have to make sure as a 16/7, even though you're trying to protect yourself from not trusting other people, not getting hurt like you did maybe as a child or as an adolescent, you have to also make sure that you have meaningful relationships. The only way to do that is to open up your trust to people. So ultimately, you still have to give people your trust in order to find feel real fulfillment throughout your life. So no matter what, you still have to be that person that can understand and forgive your past, your family, your friends, the people who may have betrayed you, and then see through that in order to find true substance from life, where you actually find fulfillment within yourself. And when you find that fulfillment within yourself, you guys actually have what we call a secret fame number in the Chaldean. Meaning a lot of people with this life path tend to become very famous or renowned based off of their intelligence. So you have to understand that when you're going after your given purpose in life, everything else will be attracted to you from there. And that goes for any life path. But with you guys, to talk on a specific basis, let's say you were mastering martial arts. If you're a 16/7 person mastering martial arts, you might get famous for it anyways because of the 6 in there. Meaning people might say, hey, why don't you go in this movie? You're really good at kicking or punching or stunts, whatever. Like, you guys are the type of people that just naturally will attract things just based off of the fact that you're just good at it. So instead of worrying about the external, more so focus on your internal and embody what you want to become in order to attract that sort of situation in your life, if that makes sense. So instead of focusing on the bad things that happen outside of you, make sure your inside is very good and substantial and authentic, and everything else is going to put itself together. Don't try to control it. Only control yourself. The next one's the 25/7. This is considered the optimized version of the 7. When you have a 25/7 as a major destiny or life path number, what this sort of insinuates is somebody who has a very, very strong intuition, because the 2 and the 7 are like best friends, right? So you have the 2, which is the moon, 7, which is considered the south node of the moon as Kietu. Then you have the 5 that's very intelligent. So this is an optimized version of the 7. The drawbacks with this one is that a lot of people with this tend to really hunt down different mentors or teachers throughout their life. Like, if you're a 25/7, you're watching me, you'll obsess over my videos over and over and over and over. Then find another numerologist like Felicia Bender and Perry G33, whoever, and you'll start obsessing over their videos and watch everything to do with that. You guys are very avid researchers, I'll give that to you. But unless you're actually doing research that pertains to your purpose, it's going to be a waste of time. If you keep just getting different mentors throughout your life, different so-called teachers or saviors, you're not going to accomplish anything. So the main thing you guys have to focus on, because you have that 2 as the forefront, is making sure you're self-sufficient. The 16s don't really have this problem. They tend to be very self-sufficient based off of pain and trauma. You guys have this problem because you want relationships with other people. You want to get along. You want substance with these relationships, and you guys are pretty open. I'm not saying you guys necessarily get betrayed, but your neediness can lead you to looking like you're scarce, which will run away money from you. Life Path 7s, it's no secret. for the most part, they have an interesting time with money, I'd say. The ones that can go in their energy, they're seen on the billionaire list for sure. The ones that don't are next to homeless. So you got to be very, very careful with your energy and making sure that you're able to control how you feel, control how you think, but moreover, use your intelligence to your advantage. The 16/7 could be getting into things like the entertainment business, things like that. You guys are more so on like the medical side of things, legalities, politics, what have you. Like those are the things where you guys will thrive at. But any sciences, anything you study, you guys can truly master and get great at. In respects to interpersonal dynamics, that's where your major obstacle is, usually with people. Like you end up being perceived as too needy. As a 7, you're meant to be by yourself, so you need to be more reclusive and understand that people will come to you when they're actually meant to. Don't hunt them down. Don't seek approval. Look for validation from within. Next one's the 34/7. 34 is an interesting one. It's very similar to the 25 because 3 is very social. They have a bit of an easier time in the social realm in comparison to the 25, but they say the 25 is more lucky. Interesting. I think it's because we have the 4 in the compound as well, which leads somebody to being very, very almost cynical in a sense, where they can actually attract negative circumstances based off of cynicism alone. So if you're a 34/7, you have the same definition as the 25, not to need other people too much, but you guys can do very well like with group businesses and so forth. And you also can do very well when it comes to working within law enforcement, judiciaries, government. Those things you guys will do very well at. If you, let's say you guys want to dissect the Constitution or dissect the Charter, I'm in Canada, right? You guys want to dissect legalities or get into different stages of politics or go for societal reform. You guys will do very well there because you guys have an intellectual leverage over your competition by far, unless there are 7s as well, or 9s possibly, but I'd more so say 7s are really genius number. That's the only way you're going to have any competition whatsoever. So you guys can actually dominate those fields by far. But you guys should definitely be doing things that help the community using your intelligence in comparison to the 25, which is more one-on-one, and the 16, which is more so completely solitude. All right. Last one's the 43/7. 43 is the most rebellious version of the 7 by far. You guys are hotheads. You guys are crazy. You guys have a tendency to be very, very, not close-minded, but kind of like anti-social, anti-government, very much into just figuring out what's what. Having your own way with things, very argumentative. You guys make awesome salespeople. So you guys are, even though you're not social, you're very forefront and authoritarian. That 4 in you makes you guys outwork your competition. The 3 in you makes you socially socially adaptable. Meaning you guys are able to be social, but you choose to be introverted. So what I'd say is, as long as you can control your anger, make sure that rebellious nature doesn't overthrow and sabotage you, you'll do very well in life. And you guys can do very well, I'd say, in any sort of sales positions for companies, and also law, like specifically lawyers, criminal lawyers, divorce lawyers, what have you. You want to get into something aggressive form of law. Law enforcement's okay, but I'd more so say we're using your intellect, your mind to make money. That's more so the 7s thing. You guys can get into things like engineering and so forth as well. You guys definitely do very well with your hands, but you're very prone to injury when you start using your hands too much, which is why I always argue to 7s, even 7s that are fighters, some of the best ones are, they always get major injuries, like Muhammad Ali, Gervonta Davis are 2 examples of that. So just make sure as a 7 that you're very, very preoccupied with your health. This is for all of you guys that I just listed. And for the 43 specifically, get a job where you have to persuade people to see your opinion through. All right, so that does finalize my my synopsis on LifePath 7. That's all the compounds for it. If you have any questions for me, just leave in the comments section. Aside from that, like, subscribe. Holla at me. It's it for today, guys. Peace.